An aspect of the world of ice and fire that I see a lot of fans ask about is what laws and orders actually exist in Westeros. How does the monarch govern crime in their kingdom, and what different groups have a notable impact in the world? This is part 2 of a set of videos explaining the politics of Westeros in full. Welcome to the Laws and Orders of Westeros Explained. There are many laws in Westeros, however we only know a specific few of them, and this is every single one. The first law King Aegon I created was the King's Peace, which required petty lords and landed knights to take their disputes to their liege lord, whilst disputes between great houses are determined by the crown. The Rule of Six is a law established by Queen Rhaenys Targaryen, the wife of Aegon the Conqueror, which essentially decided that a man who beat his wife for committing adultery could only strike them 6 times, one for each of the 7 gods except for the stranger, as the woman would be offending the gods themselves. Another law that involved the same issue is the Rule of Thumb, that decided the rod the man beat his wife with could be no thicker than a thumb. King Maegor's laws is a term used by Cersei Lannister and the High Sparrow to refer to the laws created by King Maegor I during the Faith Militant Uprising. It stated that holy men could not carry weapons. This was later added to when Maegor started placing bounties on members of the faith who remained defiant. A gold dragon was given for the scalp of warrior sons, and a silver stag for the scalp of a poor fellow. Next up are Queen Alysanne's laws, which refer to the 2 laws enacted during the reign of King Jaehaerys I that were influenced by his wife Alysanne. Widow's law is a law that reaffirms the right of an eldest son to inherit, but they must allow their father's widow to remain at his castle, regardless of whether she was his first, second, or even third wife, and she should be under the same conditions as she had been before her husband's death. The law also prevented men from disinheriting his children from previous marriage, in favour of children from a later marriage. The second law made by Alysanne is the abolishment of a lord's right to the first night, which was created after Jaehaerys and Alysanne's royal progress to the north. It meant that a lord could no longer bed a bride before their new husband on their wedding night. Any lord who continued the practice would be found guilty of rape. The next set of laws I'm going to discuss are the 3 types of trials in Westeros. More specifically, trials of the crown, trials of the faith, and trial by combat. Trials of the crown often begin with a prayer from a septon, asking for the father to guide them to justice. Then the accused and witnesses are sworn to honesty before giving their testimonies. These testimonies are heard by one or multiple judges, and then they make a decision on guilt or innocence. We see this happen with Tyrion's initial trial for the murder of Joffrey in both the books and the show. Trials of the faith are very similar to trials of the crown, but instead the judges are holy men, and crimes are judged on how they follow the guidance of the 7 rather than the laws that are set out. We see something similar to this with Loras Tyrell's trial in Season 6 of Game of Thrones. Any knight or noble who is accused of breaking the law has a right to demand a trial by combat, where both the accused and accusers can choose champions to fight in their place. The winner of the duel decides between guilt and innocence. We see this again with Tyrion's second trial in both the books and the show, with a duel between Oberyn Martell and Gregor Clegane. If a person who is accused is royalty, then their champion has to be a knight of the Kingsguard. However, if the accuser is royalty, they can choose any champion they wish. The succession and inheritance laws is the main topic of my previous video on the politics of Westeros. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. A few of the crimes that can be punished in Westeros are thievery, poaching, slavery, rape, outlawry, desertion, and free folk crossing the wall, which can be punished by a number of methods, like execution, being sent to the Night's Watch, or more miscellaneous ones that depend on the severity of the crime, like maiming or fines. I'm also going to discuss the certain established orders that are present in Westeros. There are 5 main ones. The Night's Watch is a military order that is dedicated in defending the wall against threats to the northern border of the 7 kingdoms. They are governed by a Lord Commander that is elected by men of the Night's Watch when the previous one dies. The Kingsguard are an order of 7 knights who are sworn to protect the king and the royal family. They are also known as the White Cloaks and are led by the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, who takes orders directly from the king. The Maesters are an order of scholars, healers and scientists who are trained at the Citadel in Old Town, a city governed by House Hightower. A lot of Maesters are sent out to advise all the lords of the realm. The Maesters have largely replaced the Alchemists Guild, a group established in King's Landing that consists of pyromancers. They were very powerful in the guild's earlier days, but by the end of the Targaryen dynasty, their power and influence is very minimal. And finally are the Silent Sisters, an order of women belonging to the faith of the Seven. They are sworn to the service of the stranger, one of the seven faces, and have taken vows of chastity and silence, hence their name. Their role is to attend to and care for the dead of noble families and prepare them for burial. If I did miss anything, be sure to let me know in the comments. But for the time being, bye bye now.